Man, it all started as me being an artist, producer, manager of a lot of artists around here. And I really I started DJing and doing my thing and got into the clubs doing my thing. And I joined a dope DJ crew called Fleet DJs.
Uh-huh.
And I got on about 10 different radio stations in Atlanta, Houston, Miami. And an individual by the name of Jay Shields who works with Soldier Boy. End up bumping into him on the internet. I see he had an award show called the SEM Awards, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try to make a theme song for his award show. He don't got one, so I made the theme song. He instantly called me right back like, "Yo, the theme song is dope. Nobody ever did anything for me without asking for anything, man." I see you've been doing your thing on the radio. Do you want to run Soldier Boy Radio?
Yeah.
So I'm like instantly like, no brainer. Yeah, let me run Soldier Boy Radio.
Right.
So he's like, man, give me a couple weeks and then hit me back and let me know when you're ready. So, I waited that couple weeks and then I hit him back. I'm like, I'm ready to go. Let's go. And then he said, man, I'm just watching you. You a boss. He's like, if I hire you at Soldier Boy Radio, I can fire you. He said, why not start your own radio station? And I always thought about doing it and wanted to, but I'm like, man, it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of money it's going to take to do this, I don't know if I got it. It's just so many doubts that I had, but he like, man, you a boss. You got this. So, he ended up connecting me with, his person that helped build Soldier Boy Radio. And, man, it was history from there, man. April 18th, 2020, we was out here. And it started, man.
It's so funny to me, man, how Soldier Boy is somehow intricately tied to this like Carbondale entertainment story.
Yeah.
Like, and in that, like it at multiple points, right? When Cortland did the podcast, he was talking about going back and forth on this, obscure digital chart with Soldier Boy back in the day, and now like this is just as much part of like the next step of everything. Like, we just connected with Soldier Boy's manager.
I think we need to get Soldier out here because it's a lot of connection here, man. We need to have that, bring that into the zone, man. Because like you said, it's a lot of connection. When Cortland and Rest in Peace Little Action, Pop It Off Boys was doing that thing with that Crank That Batman. They were battling Crank That Soldier Boy. You know what I'm saying? And it was just back and forth, man.
Yeah.
And the Come 360 again, Soldier Boy's manager, his management hooks it up where I get the station. It's a blessing.
It's serendipitous when stuff like this happens. Just like something here is supposed to happen. Like all that energy years ago, where it's like Soldier Boy won out then, but that just came back around. Back around, and that feeds right. I mean, you were talking about Cortland being on the show, like every Monday, like as what you were making was growing, and how that's led to all this other activity going on right now, where like people are still anchored into Carbondale, but like they're going other places and doing big things.
They got to, man. When it comes down to it, like you said, for the first year, me and Cortland did, Jabray Mondays.
Yeah.
So he was doing them dope videos. He was doing the dope remixes.
Oh, he did the Ja Rule video on the stage right here.
Right, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
Dude, that the fog machine that day was hilarious because it wasn't like just a typical like hazer for like a stage show, right? It was just a straight fog machine, like would be in a haunted house or something, just like blowing everywhere. And like the idea was like, how do you get in a room with no people? How do you get it to look like it's a room full of people that he's playing to? And it came out. Awesome.
It was dope, man. I looked at that video. I was like, that's crazy. And we went from every Monday calling in while he was down in Miami with Pitbull writing.
Yeah.
He was calling from the studio like, yo, we got to do the Jabray Monday, He was in there writing with Keisha Cole. He's like, yo, we ready to go, bro.
Yeah. He had to stay on it.
He had to stay on it, and that was big, like to have radio every Monday, for his career and like that. So, man, I salute him, man. He's definitely doing great things for Carbondale, man.
What is it like to just look in your phone and see these numbers just fly back at you, right? Because like I'll be straight up, man. Like I had no conceptualization of like what the impact of your show was until we were just sitting down talking before the show. Like I was like, oh man, Unree's just kind of doing this show, and it's some local artist and it's some whatever, and it's it's cool. It's like what everybody else has got going on, and then no, it is not like what everybody else has going on right now.
Nah, man, it's amazing, man. Cause like, just let's talk, man. I had Sounds of Blackness. I've had Maya.
Mm-hmm.
I've had 112. I've had Lyrica Anderson. I've had Just Brittany. My Hattie from Tyler Perry.
Uh-huh.
I've had all these, celebrities and superstars, man, on my station, interviewing them, and it's been crazy, man, because it's like, Carbondale.
Yeah.
And we got all these different entities coming through, the station and interviewing them. It's been like, really like a blast from the past.
Yeah.
Like something like, I couldn't even imagine happening, but it's like a reality. It's like, man, I've been tied to music for so long.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Well, and that is what a transition, right, for episode 76 of the WTF Carbondale podcast, where we talk to interesting people about their interesting lives, and we tie it all back together to this little old place we call home, Carbondale, Illinois. For this episode, Unree Westley is my guest, and man, you got it, dude. I love beyond just the work, right? It's keeping in earnest like the value of this place, right?
Yeah.
You're not just like, oh, I'm gonna try and get the station up and going. I'm running away, and that's that, and whatever. Carbondale. It's like you are like, how do I act as a magnet for this activity? How do I draw in this activity to here? And you're doing it, man. Like the reason I'm doing it because you're from here, man.
I'm from here, man. I love Carbondale. I love Southern Illinois. 618, man, is in my blood. And, and my thought process was this. It's like a lot of artists don't have the opportunity to get BDS and digital radio track spins, to be in the same room with those superstars and celebrities from around the world. So I'm like, you know what? The best way I can do this is to start this radio station and allow those individuals from my area to have the opportunity to be on radio, to be interviewed, to be in the room with those individuals, because now I'm no longer just the DJ. I'm a radio station owner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a part of the major press. So now when I go, if you give me your promotionals or whatever you want to do, I can take you with me.
Yeah. Did you ever think that this is where things would land? Was there any even an attempt, or it was just all organic? It just happens because when you're the right place, right time, and right person, that's how things happen.
Pandemic, man. It was the pandemic, man. Like, at that time, it's been a lot of different things going on during the pandemic, man. I lost my father to COVID, you know what I'm saying? On the day my radio station launched, I lost my second mom, you know what I'm saying? Two of my business partners that I did a lot of my DJing up and down the highway in Memphis and Atlanta, they died 5 days apart from COVID in June. You know what I'm saying? In 2020, man, like 2020 was a crazy time for me, but at the end of the day, it allowed me to do this because I wasn't working.
Yeah.
I was working at the school. We were off because of COVID.
Yeah.
So, in that whole time I was off, from that March into that April, the radio station was born. So,
Has it been something that's been there to help you handle grief when it's been ever present in this time?
Oh man, I've been able to do so many things with that. Like, me and my wife does a show on Saturdays called Soul Talk, where we talk love, marriage, and everything in between. You know what I'm saying? And so we talk a lot of, funny topics, love, relationship, kids, family.
Yeah.
That's brought my family closer together. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, it's been a coping mechanism, because every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm live on air from 4 to 6. And I get a chance to, just be free, DJ, play music, bring great vibes into the environment, and interview some of the dopest talent from around the world, and just live, man, be happy, and what I love music, man. I love entertainment, all those things, and just investing in people's goals and their dreams and seeing people so happy. Like, one of the interviews I did like last week, somebody was like, yo, this is the first time I ever been on radio. It's the first time I ever been interviewed. I never heard my song on here, you know, and they like, you know, and I hear their family in the back just screaming because I'm playing the record, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you know what? This is what you do it for, to give these opportunities to individuals who never thought they could be on radio, who never thought they would be getting interviewed, you know, and it's just like, man, that's just the joy right there, man.
It's like giving people money, man. And here's where I'm, you know, I think a lot about what transactions among individual human beings looks like in a digital world where paper money doesn't matter as much as so many other things. One of those things is exposure, right? And when you trade in that, it's like taking a suitcase with $10,000 in it and just handing it to somebody. Right? And like that's what some people don't understand is like that even though it doesn't take any more energy to have a major star on as it does somebody who's never dropped a track on radio before. That the value of what you're doing to somebody and the expressive nature of how somebody engages in that is itself more rewarding than any dollar bill that anybody could ever have handed over to him. I mean, ultimately probably because it translates into the dollar bills, but
that's true, man, because, you know, looking at it, like if you go to my website, you know, which is hitz1073.com, you can see maybe it's a Megan Thee Stallion video, because I got videos on there, like one of her videos she got out, but then I have a Cortland video, or I have a Bridge Lane video, or I have a Sean Bennett video. Somebody from the area sitting right next to somebody that's already out there. The strategy is if they come to the site and they see that, they might click the next one up under it. The exposure is going to be there. You just got to put it in the right places.
Well, and another thing we were talking about beforehand was just, you know, some of how the radio station makes its way, right? You were talking about just having people that are real stars and like people that are also re-emerging stars, right? That have been stars and are coming back, reaching out to you and be like, hey, I want to use the vehicle that you've created to reach out and like reestablish a relationship with listeners. You know, I don't want to go to some big radio station that's, you know, some iHeart Radio or whatever else and do this. I want to do this with
you. I want to do it with you because it's too many loops and hoops to jump through if you go into iHeart. They're gonna make you jump. You know, like Erica Banks. Let's talk Erica Banks.
Let's talk Erica Banks.
Man,
I can't believe that this is what this podcast has turned into. Man. I feel special, dude. Like having you on, having Hollywood on, having Cortland on, having any number of performers on like already, and I'm only on episode 76, and like people are coming in dropping real names on this, and it's like this is the kind of work we're doing. I'm sorry to cut off. I'm really excited about what you guys are bringing to me as well.
Oh, it's all good, man. We appreciate you for giving us a platform to be able to talk, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Erica Banks, you know, before the Busted single even went where it went, I had her on my station, and I told her it was in the last August before she signed the deal with Epic. I said, man, that Busted single, I said, you're about to be a superstar, you know. And I had her on, and we had a dope interview, and then we had her on a conference call with the Fleet DJs. And to this day, like, I have her phone number in my phone. If I want to text her to do a drop or anything, you know, she cool because at the end of the day, I invested in her without wanting the investment because I seen she had a dope record. I loved the record, and I said, man, you gonna sign a deal? You about to go somewhere? And in December, she signs the deal, you know what I'm saying? And one of the first messages I got back from her management to her was like, man, you said it in August. In December, we signed the deal. You know, and it's like, you know, being able to touch those type of artists on their way up, like Rennie Rucci, you know, Fujiano, all these different artists, they've been on the station, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a real close connection with Authentic Empire, which is one of the biggest labels out right now. They call me directly. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, we got Fujiano. Hey man, we got my man that sing Hittin'. We got Gucci. We got 1017. Anybody you need or anybody you want to interview, we got the connection to them, you know, and it's just by creating a vehicle. As a label, you need radio space, radio place, and all that for your artists, man.
And whatever it looks like in the modern day and age, right? Radio play isn't, oh, how close are you to some antenna so that you can turn up and like hope that the signal stays in. It's like radio is, just like a telephone isn't a telephone anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Radio isn't radio anymore.
No.
And wherever you make it from, it's not about that. It's where you send it to, and you can send it to anywhere.
Yeah, traditional radio is not gone.
Yeah.
But digital radio has taken over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because now I can have an internet station and be all over the world at the same time.
Yeah.
So like you said, you don't have to come to my studio to make it happen now. We can get you the same spins, the same plays, and do all the same things as traditional radio.
So do these metrics actually add up to like whatever the traditional broadcast metrics are? Do these play into that? So like spins and other things like that that impact chart activity.
Oh yeah, I'm Nielsen BDS.
Okay.
I have.
Is Nielsen? Did Nielsen merge with BDS? Is that what that?
No, I got Nielsen. I got BDS.
Okay.
I have I have BMI ASCAP. Anything that you need to get your shit, I'm in there. You know what I'm saying? All your streaming needs, everything. I paid for the licenses to make sure my station was exactly where it needed to be. I wanted to be traditional and digital all at the same time and allow artists to have the opportunity to really flourish.
Dude, I'm so bought into that concept, man, of like what is this? And I talk about it in the sense of what is that gap that we've got to bridge between a digital space and a physical space. I'm sorry, I'm sitting here like running around with my microphone here because I don't have more than one mic clip right now. So that's why this looks real weird. Anywho, so I talk about it in a sense of digital and physical spaces, but it's just as much the same in talking about a traditionally analog media in a transition to a digital space and all of that activity that goes along with it, and then how it all plays back when you're trying to replicate what that analog or in-person feels like. So the reason why people still tune in and correct me if I'm assuming wrong in what I start saying here, but that there is a live component to this. There is an in-the-moment aspect of what you're producing that makes it media that people still crave. It's one thing to have the ability to click on YouTube or Spotify or whatever and play something on demand, but what if the thing that you demand is to be there in the moment experiencing it with somebody?
Yeah, that people love the studio, man. Yeah. That's the first thing they ask. Like, if we doing an interview, can I come to the studio? Can we do this thing live? It's something special about the live aspect. That's why when I have probably about 10 or 12, maybe 15 mix shows on my station where DJ's sitting there mixing. I program it. It feels live because that's the aspect I want it.
Yep.
But it's not actually live. But for me, when I'm not live on radio, it's a different feel.
Yeah.
Like you get a certain kind of energy. I get the same energy when I was a performer, performing on stage, or when I'm in a club DJing or doing. I get that same energy when I'm on radio. I'm putting on a show for people to be entertained, man. It's something special and magnetic about it.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
That's not. Nope. Don't need that phone call now. Hey, I'm good, Mike. Thank you. He'll know when he sees the podcast. Anyway, so the now where am I going with this? I'm all froze up, man.
That's all good.
I don't usually get there. That's what happens when a phone call buzzes in. The outreach component of this. No, I got it all fucked up. I'm literally gonna have to go back and cut this part out. I don't usually edit the podcast because of myself, but here I am. But no, the one of the things I want to jump into on transitions, you were talking about just giving people something for nothing, simply for the fact that you value them and what they're trying to do. So give them that attention, give them that activity, because it doesn't cost you anything extra to make that happen, right? You can just provide that of your own accord. Yeah. And that leads me into the interaction that I had with Seth a couple weeks back, because that was crazy to me too, man. When I was like, so I just bumped into this guy whose car broke down at Walmart and like he needed a ride home and whatever else, and like I didn't know dude from Adam. And then he starts
Right.
talking about, you know, all the stuff that he's got going on. I'll save that for him to spoil on his own podcast when I get him in here. But like, and then when I was talking about that, and you were like, yeah, man, Seth is the dude that called the ambulance when I took the hard hit and ended up paralyzed, man. It's just, it's an interesting world, the way it all goes around, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's my guy, man. All world, Seth Smith, man. You know, he used to run these sidelines and run the field crazy. Michigan set the record for the longest, you know, kickoff return, man. Like, dude was an amazing athlete. But yeah, he's the one, man. He was out there. He had came back from Michigan, and he was out there at camp, and yeah, he the one ran up there with that quick speed, man, and called the ambulance, man, from when I took the hit, man. You know, it was crazy, you know, being a 16-year-old kid able to, you know, backflip, run fast, do anything I wanted to be able to do, you know, to being laying on the ground, feeling your body vibrate from head to toe like your foot is sleeping, you can't even lift your arms up, you know, in a blink of an eye, you know. It was crazy, man, but you know, through everything, you know, you take the good with the bad and keep moving, man. You got to.
Did you I mean, did it take time to develop this attitude after the hit, or has this been something that, man, you've just always had this mindset and like it's just it transitioned from one kind of life to the next?
It's called, man, having an amazing mother in your life.
Yeah.
That taught you morals and values. You know, we was in church ever since we were kids, and she always instilled in me, you know, no matter what you're going through, keep pushing. You know, life is gonna be different for every individual, and from day one, you know, as I laid on that ground, I was scared out of my mind, being 16 years old, you know, can't move, body vibrating head to toe. And they put me in the ambulance. They can't get the helmet off in Carbondale, so they fly me to Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and then they finally get the helmet off, put me in the MRI machine, man, shave my head bald, screw some screws in my skull on both sides, put 10 pounds of weight on my head, and have me laying flat on my back. And it's like, yo, I don't know what the next step or what's about to happen because they're not telling me. They talking to my mom and telling her. But my mom just sobbing on the side of the bed. And God spoke to me at that moment. He said, you know what? It's time to be selfless. This woman that gave her life to you. It's time to take her pain and turn it around. So from that point on, I said these words. I said, man, quit crying. We gonna live life like we supposed to live life. Everything gonna be all right. At that moment, I felt peace, and she stopped crying. And when I woke up from surgery the next day, it was go time.
It's been go time ever since.
Ever since, you know what I'm saying? It's been go time, you know what I'm saying? Hey, no excuses. You know, I tell my kids this, no matter what you're going through, it's my motto. No matter what you're going through, somebody going through something worse. Don't complain.
Yeah.
It could be worse.
And then you give him the next step of fatherly advice.
Yeah.
You want me to make it worse?
Yeah,
I'll make it worse.
Yeah. That's it. You know. Yeah, you know, you can complain all you want to, but complaining is not gonna do nothing. Put some action in, man. You know, any small little action that you can do can make it better, man. So you know, just keep pushing, man. That's it, bro.
My kids got a lot of tree limbs to pick up in the yard.
Oh yeah.
They were doing all sorts of complaining yesterday.
Okay.
And then their granddad came over and cut some more limbs up today, and I'm sure they're complaining even more.
Yeah. That's these new age kids, man. It's like, you know, I growing up in Carbondale, man, we couldn't wait to get to the spec. I was born and raised in Tatum Heights, you know. We had a little spot out there called the spec. We had an 8-foot rim and a 10-foot. So growing up as kids, you couldn't play on the 8-foot. Because all the older kids was playing on the 8-foot, so you had to wait till late at night when they were all gone, then you could play, you know. And we called it a spec because of the Spectrum, Dr. J, you know what I'm saying? And it was some amazing games going on out there. We had Troy Hudson out there. We had Rashad Tucker, my brother Donald Green, all the Berries, anybody that Sean Tinsley, you know. We got spec legends. My brother Big Pooh, man, rest in peace to him, man. And you know, we had a lot of people out there, and growing up as a kid, man, we played baseball, We played soccer, played football, played basketball, and you don't see that now, man. A lot of these kids, they hate outside.
Yeah.
They hate to sweat. They hate to pick up something. They don't want to walk. They want to play the game.
Yeah.
You know, and just growing up in Carbondale, knowing like these were things that were amazing. Like seeing how dead the mall is. Like I live to go to the mall on Saturdays and all like that and just walk around through the mall. It's not there no more, man.
Dude, here's what made me so excited when you started talking like just how many doors that this activity in the past year has opened up for you and all this activity that you got going on. Because I keep talking about on the podcast this Creatordale idea of getting 100 people doing all sorts of different stuff, making all sorts of types of media, just interacting with one another. Everybody's getting featured on everybody else's stuff because you're just living life with each other.
Yeah.
Right? And when you were like, yeah, man, I've got all these people that are doing all these things, and you're just like telling me that this vision that I've got of like seeing that mall and those old anchor stores get turned into, production studios where people just like want to go, whether you're local people that just want to show up and like record something small, or whether you're, a big outfit coming out of Nashville or Chicago or, Atlanta, St. Louis, wherever, that just needs some cheap production space to go into in like a place that's got all sorts of natural beauty all the way around it, right? You can go get bluffs, you can go get swamps, you can go get prairie, whatever sort of outdoor environment you need. It's here in Southern Illinois, but then like you have a production space to back that up on the other end when you need to be here for 3 months at a time. It's like,
that would be dope.
What you have shared with me tells me that this dream is not out of the realm of possibility at all.
I know it's not far-fetched. It's a possibility.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we can make that a real reality because it's so many talented individuals here in Southern Illinois. Like when we were talking earlier, like you said, we got SIU that got film school. You got a lot of different studios that people are doing film. You got a lot of different photographers and all these different things.
Man, the photographers are crazy, man. And they're all good. Like we've got some good photographers in town doing their thing.
So it's like, those things are definitely, and then like you said with the bluffs, with the area, like it's nowhere like really around the world that you can get like the atmosphere that Southern Illinois has, man. We need to make this, we need to find some way to expose this so people will start coming.
Well, and everybody, I mean, you see like a hit show like an Ozarks or like a Walking Dead or whatever else, and all this stuff that's, everything that's stamped filmed in Georgia now. There's no reason that that's not a slice of the pie that we shouldn't have just a little bit, man. Like the tiniest sliver of that creative pie changes the entire long-term outlook for this town.
Yeah.
Right. And I just, it's a mix of things, right? When you work to launch people, right? Like you have to be able to send out, what are essentially ambassadors for your home. Yeah. Right. And I say that in like a Cortland, in a Sean, in a, they're just easy ones that I can go to and pick up on, but there's so many folks and any number of students that come to SIU and then go elsewhere, and they've got just as much of a fond memory, even though they've only spent 2 or 3 years, 4 years, 5 years here, whatever, like being able to produce those folks. And then everybody's always talking about Carbondale, and then everybody always wants to know what's going on in Carbondale. Oh, well, is anything happening there? Is anything going on? What do we need to do? And it's like, okay, well, give them something. Give them something to talk about when they're in LA, when they're in Chicago, when they're in New York, when they're in Atlanta, to just point back to Carbondale and say, hey, it's quiet, but it's happening.
Man, it's that mystery of that Carbondale, SIU being the #1 party school in America, and people still are like, you know what? I want to see why it was that, let me go there and see what's going on in Carbondale that made it the #1 party school in America. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we need to tap back into that. Yeah. We need to find some way to bottle that and bring it back some kind of way. We don't have to bring it all the way back, but we need to be able to bring some of that back to bring some life back into the town, man.
Yeah, you got to be able to pour a glass of it and have a sip of it on Friday night.
Yeah, real talk. Just a little sample of it, not an overload, but enough to make that Friday night amazing. I think that would be like, and that would help the entertainment value go up. With some of these artists that's out here, they don't have real stages to perform on. Yeah. They don't have real opportunities to be exposed. Yep. By bringing that back, that will give them an opportunity.
Well, and this becomes a model for so many other places, right? I mean, it's not like Carbondale is the only place that has some sort of talent just floating around the area, but like there aren't a whole lot of, semi-rural areas like ours where entire networks of folks are coming out of and able to represent on the other end of. Even you look at something maybe comes out of Ohio, right? Like there's still, folks may still be coming out of, towns that are 100 or 200,000 people, strong. Like we're talking about being able to produce this activity out of a place that's got just a little over 20,000 people living here, and that gives you that small town essence with that, like, with that big city production aspect to it. And now all of a sudden, okay, well, does any old, kid that thinks they've got stars in their eyes, do they look at Carbondale and go, maybe I can try and do something here before I have to go try and make it in Chicago, before I have to go try and make it in Nashville, wherever else? I can just stop off in Carbondale, polish myself up, and keep going. Can we be that talent factory? And that's what, again, man, I just go back to because that's what you're doing.
man, Carbondale can be the talent factory because, starting back when I started in the 90s, in 96, I'm dating myself for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Back in the 90s, man, I had Cortland, and the Private Off Boys, Bridge Lane, just a slew of artists that came through and was doing music. Sir Q, I had to give him so much love, man, because him and Sir Q, his brother DJ Manny Man, was the first people that he was actually rapping. So he had a song called Problem Child, was one of the dopest records I've ever heard still to today. You know what I'm saying? He was the only one rapping. They took me and was like, yo, here go the Beat Machine, here go Dr. 505. Bought it right from Soundcore. And that's where it all started at, man.
It's crazy that we've even had these guys here to help make that stuff go, right? Having Joe, having Robbie, having these world-class like production people that are just like the dude down the street that's there for you.
Yeah, man. Like everything I got, like most of my equipment, I bought it from Soundcore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When I've done the tons of shows I did at Hangar 9, the old Hangar 9, Robbie was the engineer. When I've done events and parties, other different places, and I need a little bit of extra equipment, I call Robbie. You know what I'm saying? Like, Robbie, I need you. You know what I'm saying? And he came through. It's just like this is a small community, and when people actually see that you got the joy and the love for the people here, they'll work with you, man. So it's just, I love it, man.
So how did you get into your like DJ network that you're in now? You were talking about that. Can you give just a little bit more insight on
Fleet DJs, man. I go to a award show called the Southern Entertainment Awards. I've been going since 2008. I won that in the song contest. I wrote a song, ended up winning the song contest, ended up opening up the award show, and the Fleet DJs, they were down there. And that was 2008. I wasn't even a DJ then. I was an artist. But I just loved the way they moved, and I'm like, man. So, full circle, 20 years, almost 20 years later, real talk, not 20 years later.
You're like 13.
About 13 years, about 11 years later, because I've been in 2 years. 11 years later, now I'm a DJ, but I've been DJing for a while. And it's a lady by the name of Most Precious. She out of St. Louis, Missouri. I was doing some events and parties, and she called me. She was like, yo, have you ever thought about joining the Fleet DJs? And my heart jumped, because I'm like, Fleet DJs, I remember, that's all, and I put the application in. They like, man, send us a 15-minute mix. Send them the 15-minute mix. They called me back instantly like, yo, you in, here go the steps to finish your application, and then you'll be on probation for so many days, and here we go, So I joined the crew, man, and from then it's just elevated my DJ career to the level it is, because I got in there. Then I end up I'm a writer for Apex Couture magazine. I'm the music editor for that magazine. It's out of Orlando, Florida. I was on 10 radio shows, which I had none before I started. And then I've done 60 mixtapes in this process of being with them, and I've been on so many different networks and Roku TV and all these different things. messing with the Fleet DJs, man. You know, we're a powerful crew, man. We got DJs in every city on every continent, man.
Yeah.
So
I mean, having that network is what makes it work.
yeah, man. And we got models, we got comedians, we got TV, we got makeup artists. You know, anything that you could do in entertainment and all that, they in the crew, man.
And people miss it, man. People don't understand how much there is in entertainment. Like they see the people on screen and they think that's it, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's not until you're in industry, until you're actually participating in production that you understand it's everybody from the catering crew and the light person, the hair and makeup, the carpenters and the painters, the anybody to build a set, the engineers. I mean, just a single production isn't just about the individual that you see in front of the camera.
Oh,
it is about everybody that props it up behind that. And that's the other thing that I think we were talking about at some point in time too, was just like that there's people just don't necessarily get it unless they're in the mix.
Yeah, man, it's about the show, man. And I always say that when I DJ, if it's 4 DJs in the room, I don't care which DJ is turning the party up. If it's you turning the party up, I'll be your hype man.
Yeah.
It's about the show. It's not about who's doing it. It's about the show.
Yep.
If I'm DJing and I'm turning it up, be my hype man.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we trying to put on an epic show, man. And, and that's what it's about, man. And that's what my DJ crew, like, we're family, man. Like I said, last week, we just left Jacksonville, Florida. We had our annual conference. Man, turned the city up, man. And brought a lot of dope artists. Brought all these DJs and all these different industries, these labels, all the promotional people all in the one room and one area for 3 or 4 days to allow artists the opportunity to network and be there, So these are the things that's possible and capable to be able to be in the area, man.
Yeah. No, that's it. I had, we had talked about doing some activity together, but hadn't done a lot yet. So again, I didn't have all this context until we really got into it this evening, Unree, and I keep smiling ear to ear, man, because I can't help it. I'm going, how many more of us exist in this one little place to do every little facet that there is, in the entertainment industry and just bring that full on lift to town. And how many more networks are we all plugged into? But the cycling back to out of music and into other passions, right? Talking about just wanting to help people grow and help people become just better versions of themselves, right? Is that kind of just a general mindset that drew you into education and recreation? Both educationally and then wanting to pursue that professionally on top of all the other stuff you got going on.
Man, I like to invest in the people, man.
Yeah.
I was always somebody that was a dreamer, and there was a lot of things that I wanted to do in my life that, I just needed somebody else to be able to step in and be like, yo, give me just a little push, give me an opportunity. And, and I like to be that person to be able to give people that opportunity, that ear. If I got something and I know you able to use it to get to the next step, what I get from it, my joy is seeing you succeed, and so like back to school things, giving kids supplies and and just bringing in opportunities for the community to come together. Those are the things that bring joy in my life, because without that, community is everything.
Yeah.
And without community, everything else around it dies. So if you invest and feed the community, then everything inside the community can grow. You can't expect something to grow if you don't water it, if you don't nurture it.
Yeah.
It's like anything you do in life. If you don't nurture it, you don't water it, you don't pay attention to it, you don't go back and check on it, you don't do the things that other people won't do. Like my son, I told him, I said, you an athlete. While they sleeping, you need to be up playing sports. While they sleeping, you need to be studying. And that's how I was able to, I got 2 master's degrees, one in education, one in recreation. While everybody else was sleeping, I was studying. You know, while everybody else was focused on all the other things, I was studying. I was still doing my other activities, but I had my goals. I was studying. I was focused. You have to be able to zero in on the things that are important and mean the most. And community, first is God, second is family, third is community.
And it's all here.
It's all here. It's all here. You can bring all those things together and make something magical. We have an amazing community here. We have some amazing families here.
We got a lot of churches.
We got a lot of churches. We got a lot of churches here. It just needs to be nurtured, man.
Yeah.
You know, all these things need to be able to sit down and come together and coexist.
Yeah.
If we can figure out how to make all these things coexist while supporting each other, sky's the limit.
Well, and that's the trick in a place like Carbondale, where the biggest barrier to success is just ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody feeling like we're siloed off.
Yeah.
And like we got to protect our own tower. We can't let it out to somebody else. We can't, this, that, the other. It's like, no, everything that we do ought to be open book for everybody else to be hands-on with. And if you can produce that, right, now all of a sudden, I call it spinning plates. This is my spinning plates there. I want to spin plates and hand them off. I want to spin a plate, hand it off. Spin a plate, hand it off. And watch people just start spinning their own plates and hand them off and handing them off and hand them off until you've got just this network of folks that are making something happen, and they all originate from one essential space that is, again, I say Carbondale as a whole, but however it looks.
That's real business right there. That's what you're talking about. Just think about it. Jay-Z took Tidal and took it to the brink of where it was at. And then what did he do? He sold it. He spun the plate enough to get it where he needs to go. Then he handed it off to somebody else to work it.
Yep.
Swiss Beats and Timbaland did the same thing. They took verses to the level where they could spin it enough. Now they gave it to Triller. I'm sitting on the board now. Now y'all spin it a little bit.
Yeah.
I done enough with it and exposed enough. Now y'all can do something to take it somewhere else.
Yep.
That's the best thing to do, is to bring the action and then allow other people to bring the action with you. You know what I'm saying? That network. Yep. That's the old adage. Your network is your net worth. The larger the network, the more opportunities you got.
Well, and people, right, we talk about generational wealth as a thing that holds so many people up, right?
Yeah.
The reason why, people like a Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos could be successful because, well, they already came from people who were wealthy, so it was easier for them to hold up. Well, if you can extrude or extrapolate that same functionality of, generational wealth out of your community, just say the wealth of the community is the wealth of the individual, and that is how I'm able to deliver capable folks with resources to market, to go out themselves and to bring back from elsewhere to here more resources to be able to provide more for the people of the place. That becomes the, to steal it from T. White, right? That becomes from the land, right? That is what from the land really, really means, is that, you're able to take it out, but you're able to put it right back in.
Real talk. I mean, that's the thing. We need pop-up shops.
Yeah.
And when these businesses are out there doing their thing, you need to go support them.
Yep.
You want to buy those major products, come support somebody that's in your own neighborhood. When we have these shows and these different events and stuff going on, come out and support. We're not saying you have to stay the whole time, but show your face. Come out, support. Bring a donation if you need to. Whatever you got to do to support, we need the support. With my station, I got 500K listeners per week.
That's just, that number's crazy to me, man. And that just blows my mind, but it's so real.
And you know what I'm saying? But then I look at the number of listeners from this area, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I'm getting so much love and support outside of the market, but I'm doing it for, this is what I'm doing it for.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it for my own gain or wealth. I'm doing it for us.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring a platform and some things here that wasn't here, and bring some opportunities. Like, yo, you want to advertise your business on here? I ain't finna break your pockets.
Yeah.
Come on, let's advertise your business. Because I understand by you advertising your business, the people that support your business will support my radio station.
Yeah. It all comes together.
Let's scratch each other's back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pull each other up. I don't want to be the crab in the bucket syndrome. I want to pull you up out of the bucket. Come on out. You know what I'm saying? Come on out and get your chance to dance. Because if I don't, man, that ain't God like. That ain't Christian like, man. To watch somebody struggle and you can pull them out, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Pull them out the bucket. Because what's for you is for you. No matter if you pull them out the bucket and they succeed, you should be happy that you know that person and they went on to succeed. That's the way of really growing.
Yeah.
That's the way to really win.
And then everybody gets to be along for the ride. Man, it's not like, you know, when people get big, right? I'm talking Drake big, right?
Yeah.
And they, you know, when people start running around with hands out going, you know, me, right? It's because that person just hasn't happened to have been part of a community that should have been supportive of them like they were supposed to.
Yeah.
Right? You know, anybody that's just here and along for the ride knows that I don't need to run around with my hand out to the people that are making it because I'm here and I got just as much chance to make it because I'm in the mix. I'm part of the story. I'm able to ride along with it. Just because my timeline's not the same as somebody else's timeline doesn't mean that I'm not due if I keep putting in the work.
If you want to be successful, hang around people that are successful.
Yeah.
If you want to own a business, hang around people that own business.
Yeah.
If you're trying to learn a trade or a craft, hang around some people that's got a trade or craft that they do.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get out of the mud, you're not going to be standing with somebody who's in the mud. You're going to be standing with somebody who's got out and be able to ask the question.
Yeah.
Be like, you know what? How did you do it? You know, a lot of people are scared to ask, like, how did you do it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people are held back because people think people are going to be like, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
Why would I tell you? You know, but that's because of the old traditions that it's been here so long.
You're right. And here's what I'll say, man. I mean, I've even just in the time of I've been doing this, you know, maybe 18 months, something like that. You know, I've tried to hand off, you know, some ideas and some skills to a lot of folks. And sometimes you feel there's a difference between the people that will use the knowledge that they take from you to better themselves, and there's a difference between those folks and the people that'll just straight rip you off.
Yeah.
And like, you know, we got to stop being so worried about who's going to rip you off.
Yeah.
You just got to go do it.
You got to do it.
Right? Like, I think, man, we're in the middle of this conversation now, and I can just think of a very specific incident that's tied to this idea of the entertainment industry in Southern Illinois and getting ripped off years ago. I mean, it's not been like years ago. It's been like 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, I didn't get ripped off by somebody and then go, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm gonna feel, you know, bent out of shape about it because somebody else, you know, took from me, you know, and didn't put back in. I'm just gonna set myself down. It's like, no. I got even more fire now because now I want to go find more people that don't just want to rip me off but want to do this with me.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna make something and forget the people that ever ripped you off to begin with because you're going to go out and make something all the more spectacular than what they could ever imagine because they don't have all of your ideas up here. All they have is that one piece that they ever took from you and didn't think to stay in your life.
Yeah. That's why when you got an idea, you surf it out there.
Yeah.
You don't get all the way on the board with them.
Yeah.
You just put the board out there on the water. You know, so they got some of the idea, but they still can't think like you.
Yeah.
No matter if they got the idea, it's not going to come out how it's supposed to because you haven't gave them all the intricate parts of the idea that truly is going to make that work.
Well, and I mean, you may even not even know it yourself. I mean, I can think of how this idea, you know, what has now become this Carbondale concept has evolved over the years just because I identified what is something that can be, you know, economically sustaining and fits the identity of Carbondale and Southern Illinois as a whole. And the idea was, well, the entertainment industry. Yeah. Right. And then from there, you know, not knowing what it was, but having to go through the motion of the exploration that leads to something like a hyper-local podcast that we're on right now to talk about this, to talk about these things that will ultimately, in another 2 years, be completely different than what it is now. But we'll be able to go back and reference and say, oh, well, we talked about this years ago, and we just kept working at it, and now we got to this next stage here. I wonder what 5 years from now is going to look like. Holy crap.
Yeah, you have to talk it into existence, man. Yeah. The whole thing is you got to put it out there so somebody, because like I said before, like you asked me the question, like, man, did you ever think you was going to be doing radio? Do you think it was going to be going here? No, I didn't. But somebody else put it out there, and then I was able to reach it. So a lot of things that, you know, being from a small town that people don't think is attainable, if you put it out there like, yo, this is a possibility, then you start sparking people's minds. They're like, you know what? This can happen. You know, just seeing Cortland on TV, him in Little Action on 106 and Park, sparked a million kids' mind in this area. Like, yo, I can make it out. Yeah, I can actually get on TV, have my music on the radio. I can do it just by seeing somebody they know that's from their neighborhood that's actually doing it, gave them the opportunity. And that's all we got to do, man. We got to be able to show them that if you want to start a podcast, man, you can do one. You can do it right here from Carbondale.
And it doesn't even have to be good. Like, practice and be bad for a little bit. Man, be bad. A backstory's not good if you don't have some silly nickname that you start off with at the first go-round, and it took you 2 or 3 names to get it right. I'm thinking of some people in particular, but that's okay. I'm not going to say any names because I'm not trying to start beef on the podcast.
Right.
But
right.
But, like, I mean, you can look at any number of folks, right? I mean, I can think of comedians that have changed their shtick over time. I can think of any number of artists that, you know, different bands and different stage names and all that stuff. It has taken them, you know, multiple runs at it to become whatever is still not a fully finished form of themselves. Because ultimately, you never stop changing, right? We're always getting older. We're always becoming something different. Like,
if you stop growing, then then what's the ceiling at? You know what I'm saying? Like, people like when you evolve. Like, we look at Kevin Hart. A lot of people like, he not funny, he not doing this, but he evolved so much that now he's through the roof. Yeah. Like, you know, but he's still evolving more. Yeah. Like, once you stop evolving, then, you know, your ability to be able to do things stop. You know, you want to be able to change. Like, on with my radio show, man, I'm just getting started. You know, I'm learning to interview people. I'm watching other people. I'm taking tricks from them. Like, oh, okay, I like that. You know, I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna try that. You know, and I'm getting better. You know, and I'm like, okay, he do a little jokes on there, so I'm trying to do. You know, just take different things, and you just keep bringing this gumbo together until it's like, oh, I got something special, and it's like, it's my own specialness, that I got. And then I'm still evolving with the specialness that I got, that way you keep your fans. And it's not like that sophomore album after you drop that first album and they like, man, that sophomore album sucked because that first album was so hot because we put so much passion in it. When he got to the second one, he was like, yo, I'm a star now. No, you want to be like, you know what? I'm still on that first album. Every time I get on this microphone, every time I put my podcast out here, every time I get on the radio, I want to make it feel like this is the first time I got on here.
Absolutely. If you don't, the second that it starts not causing your heart to flutter, right? Anytime that you feel comfortable, when you flip that switch, when you step out on stage, when that light goes on, when that crowd goes up, when whatever happens, like if you are comfortable in that, it's not right. Yeah, man. I don't care if you are Jay-Z. Yeah. Right? Yeah. The one of the most wealthy media entrepreneurs on the planet, one of the most capable, media producing individuals on this planet. He'd still guarantee that he gets some kind of flutter before he steps out on that stage, because that's how you know that you're still alive in all this.
Man, the butterflies is there, man. And I've DJ'd 5,000, 10,000, to 200 to 100. But no matter what, when I get on that stage and I'm behind that DJ board, man, them butterflies is flying, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's not like you questioning yourself, but it's just like, I gotta do this. You know what I'm saying? It's just that feeling, man. And I got that same feeling when I used to get on the microphone to perform, you know, from doing the interview. I'm always in my head like, man, it's gotta go right. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you in life, man, it's gonna be hiccups.
Yeah.
It's gonna be different things you're gonna have to work around. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be some obstacles. You like, man, I wasn't ready for that one, but we got it out of it, you know. But you know, you just gotta keep going, man. So yeah, like you said, man, once them butterflies leave, then that's when you start hearing people saying, I'm ready to retire. I don't want to do it no more because it's not fun. The love is gone. You know what I'm saying? That's that love. When you get them butterflies, that's that love because you got a passion. That's that passion inside you, man. So, man, keep them butterflies. Don't let nobody tell you if you got butterflies, you scared or you not a true artist or something like that. Because a lot of people tell people like, man, oh, when you're a real artist, you shouldn't get butterflies. Who says that? If you in love, when you see your wife or anything, you get butterflies. So that lets you know, like, it's real. It's still there. Like, man, I've been on my wife 26 years. I still get butterflies. That lets me know it's real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's real. You know, through ups and downs, trials and tribulations, no matter what you go through, those butterflies are gonna be there, man.
And your kids still not giving a damn after all these years.
Yeah.
Lets you know
that it's real, man. It's real. It's real. It's real.
Do the kids even recognize what's going on right now? Or are they just like, whatever, Dad?
Man, it's what's so crazy is I'm dad. You know what I'm saying? My son and my daughter, you know, my oldest two, they proud, they happy, but I'm dad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But my 8-year-old, like, man, my 8-year-old make me feel like I'm Jay-Z. I'm Nas. I'm like, she's like, my dad's a DJ. She go to school like my dad's a DJ. He on a radio station. And he's a rapper too. You know, go to his YouTube channel. Yeah. Like, I'm like, man, you my manager. You know what I'm saying? Like this is my manager right here. Like she makes me feel like I'm a superstar, man. Like, you know, like she get it. Like she really gets like the work that I put in. How diligent I am when it comes to doing what I'm doing. Like she'll come in the studio like, yo, I like to sing. She love to sing. She just love to sing. And she like, man, can I be a DJ one day if I want to? I said, you can be anything you want to be in the world. You know
I tell you what, man, that is, I appreciate the skills of all of our peers right now.
Yeah.
In the performing arts world. In town and around town. But in 15 years, when everybody's kids are starting to get just a little bit more grown, you know, we start hitting 20s, 25s, 30s with the kids that have all grown up with this. You know, I just seeing T. White do a video with his daughter the other day, right? When he was like, you know, when my daughter asks, Dad's got to go out there and show TikTok what's up. It's like that type of encouragement to the next generation, and then being able to provide them an established network to say, you're already plugged in. You're already plugged in. You're already here. There's already this legacy that exists. Just like you just gotta like take it on.
People don't want to be dad, man. They want to stay in the mode of being the artist. Like, you know, I respect T. White for the things that he be doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you T. White, but at the end of the day, you dad.
Yeah.
You dad to her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so she ready to do the TikTok video. You got to show up and show out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because, hey, you T. White. And you know what I'm saying? You got to show up and show out. You know, and it's good to see those interactions because we need those things to be seen. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm thinking about, Ricky, I got to get, I started talking to Ricky at the start of the pandemic, was like, hey man, your kids want to shoot some videos. Let's get them in here and shoot some videos, whatever. Yeah. We haven't gotten around to it at this point, but like, I still see him taking the kids to like some sort of production space, shooting videos with them, like giving them, like, this is what they do, not just for fun. And like, the kids don't even think now that it's anything other than fun because it's what they love to do. But they'll, when they start realizing, oh, well, I'm supposed to get a job, I'm supposed to pay these bills, like I'm supposed to be grown. And wait, I can be grown and still just utilize these same skills that Dad's taught me as I've grown up.
Dad invested in this time and effort. There's a lot of time and effort when it comes to investing in a kid, man. And doing stuff like this, like the entertainment. It's almost hard as being an athlete, traveling them all over the world, following them to play games and stuff like that. This entertainment reign is kind of tough right now, being that everybody's on social media and you got to find that gimmick that makes you stand out better than the next person, and with TikTok and all these things taking over, man, the sky's the limit though. It allows a kid from Carbondale, Murfreesboro, Marion to be able to say, you know what, I can reach the world and millions of people at the click of a button. Which is crazy.
How's it been? I mean, just being, because you've been able to see it and engage it really through the start of the digital revolution here. Right. I mean, it's one thing for a guy like Robbie or like Joe C to they made their entire careers on analog activity, and then just when it came time to digitize, okay, well, let's just digitize and whatever. But your starting point was it digitization?
Man, no,
it
wasn't. I mean, my starting point was digitization. You know what I'm saying? But the internet and all that stuff wasn't really popping when I was, I had to actually get out and go to these record labels and take my music over there. It wasn't easy as these emails and these things that these artists are able to do now. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't as digitized as it is now, man. Like right now, it's like it's easier, but it's harder because it's oversaturated.
Now you've got to stand out because it's 1,000 emails a day versus 10 people walking through a door. Now, instead of having to go through the journey that gets you through the door, you just got to be able to squeeze through a much smaller space to get into it.
It's like I said, it's easier, but it's tougher because, like you said, you got to stand out. And your email or whatever, because your email not personal. That's just another click on the button. So it has to have something in that email that makes them say, you know what, I'm going to click this one. When you walk through the door, they have to greet you. You know what I'm saying? So that journey was tough. That journey was tough to be able to, because I just can't go to New York and walk into Uptown Records because they say there's no solicitation. I got to be invited. So I got to go here and figure out how do I get this invite to come in and get them my music. You know what I'm saying? So, man, with how it is now, because it's just let's go to talk about DJing. Like when DJs had to carry crates of records with the Technic 1200s with the turntables into the venue, and then now you don't have a computer that's actually analyzing the tracks and counting the BPMs for you. You got to pull this record out, and you got to know what goes with this record off of what you pulling, and you really got to have an ear. Now it doesn't take a true ear because the computer is going to analyze, it's going to sync it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to spit it. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is be able to count. You know what I'm saying? So, I love my new DJs. You know what I'm saying? I'm a new DJ.
But nothing replaces that old crate.
No. But it saves some backs because, man, carrying those records through there, man, that had to be tough, man. But now all you need is a hard drive.
Well, and that says something for the other aspect, and this ties right back into kind of the start of the conversation, which is, live radio, listen to people talk, listen to people and feeling like you're there in the moment with somebody. It's the same idea with any of this media that we make now. How do you make it feel like it's got presence of the hand, right? How do you make it feel like there's a physical component to this digital thing? What makes it human, really? Because without some sort of minor flaw, without some sort of unique change or altercation to the media, it's just a robot.
It's just a robot. Real talk. It's just it comes down to your personality, man. The personality of the person running it, who behind the microphone. Production.
Yep.
Production is a big key in anything that you do, man. You got to have somebody that's true to the production of what's going on, man, and I produce my own show. It's a lot of thought that goes into my live show. I just don't go back in the studio and be like, yo, today I'm just going to throw some music on, hope this artist come through, ask them some random things, and but it's always a thought process. Like on my Fridays, I got R&B Fridays, so on Fridays we playing old school R&B, new school R&B, all these different things. So I try to interview somebody that's an R&B artist or somebody that's tied in the R&B game on Fridays, and it's just kind of set the mood and the vibe for your weekend to get you ready to be able to relax with your family and stuff like that. On Mondays, it's Motivation Monday. So I bring somebody on that's going to talk some motivational things and do different things that's going to motivate you. Like, I got a business and I came from here and this is where I'm at now. So it's a message to the madness, but it's like you got to drive them down the road. You got to paint a picture for them to be able to see, man. And it got to sound vivid, and when you talking, people listen, and that's one thing about the voice. When it's fake, they can tell it's fake.
It's the truth.
They can tell it's fake. When there's no passion in your voice and the things that you're talking about, it gets dry. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's time to be like, oh man, you know what? I'm finna turn the channel because this just sounds like the same thing I hear over and over again. When you got passion, when it's real, it's magnetic. People gonna connect.
And that's what we've done this podcast, episode 76 of the WTF Carbondale podcast. We've connected, and we're going to keep connecting, and we're not going to stop connecting because that's what we do, this little place we call home. Have a good one, folks, whatever that one may be.